Sponsored by Rodney Anderson with Supreme Lending.
More than 50% of first-time marriages end in divorce. Not much better for that second time around, as 75% of people who get married again, they also call it quits. So who gets a house and who's going to pay for it? Mortgage expert and our credit expert, Rodney Anderson with Supreme Lending, is here to answer our questions for us. What are you seeing here?
Well, let me give you an example, okay? Let's say, no disrespect to my wife, let's say you and I are married, okay?
Yes.
Yeah, but let's say, for example, we're getting divorced, and you're awarded our house, okay? So in the divorce decree, it states that you're responsible for the home, you get the equity, you get the payments, you get everything. But there's a difference between being legally divorced and financially divorced. So let's say you're awarded the house, I deed the property over to you, but if you don't refinance, I'm still on the mortgage. Therefore, let's say you lost your job. You start making late payments on the house. Those late payments go onto my credit report, and what it does is it takes my score and drops it through the floor. So that's why it's so important when people are getting divorced, because attorneys don't separate it all out many times, and it's really important to dictate in the divorce decree who gets what, but most of all, having somebody refinance the house into their name to make sure I'm protected years down the road.
There really isn't a clean cut here.
No, there isn't.
And it's very complicated. So what happens if that spouse cannot make those payments?
Yeah, if that spouse can't make the payments, the late payments go on to me, but if you have a foreclosure, for example, and you don't sell the house, that foreclosure goes onto my credit report, dropping my score, meaning that down the road, I potentially could not buy a home, I could not buy cars, I could not finance things, even though I paid all my bills on time. You just haven't paid your bills on time.
I'm seeing if there's a difference between being divorced and being financially divorced.
Absolutely.
Here. Okay. Now, no matter how much you don't like that other person, you don't want to affect their credit score and their numbers that way. Do you see a lot of people refinancing their home and going through a divorce?
Yeah, there's three different areas where people are refinancing right now. Number one, just to get the ex-spouse off, to protect the ex-spouse, okay? The second one that I see is during divorce, people are transitioning their finances. Like I just had a client, she was on a 15-year fixed rate mortgage with her previous husband. She can't afford that 15-year anymore. So now she's refinancing back to a 30-year. And then we also see a lot of cash out refinances for divorce buyouts, where you're paying off the ex-spouse part of the equity in their home and their share of the equity.
Now, if somebody's in the situation where that's the route they want to take, how soon should they do that?
Well, you got to make sure you know all the mortgage rules of when you can refinance, because many times if you do it before divorce or all the time, your soon-to-be ex still has to sign on the deed of trust and some documents. So sometimes it depends on if the divorce is amicable or not amicable, but I always tell people when you're getting divorced, make sure you're ready up front and make sure you can qualify for that refinance, because many people, they awarded the house, they're supposed to refinance, then they can't qualify based on their new debts and their new financial situation.
Rodney, thank you. If he's talking about something that interests you, maybe you're kind of going through, or even know a friend, give him a call to answer more of your questions. 1-800-EXPRESS for all of your mortgage and financial needs. Of course, you can also go to his website for all of his information, so much more. It's rodneyanderson.com.